So are you more like the buffalo or are you more like the cow? I am Vismaya Rubin, founder of Living in Gratitude Today, teacher, speaker, best-selling author. But you know, my favorite role is that of a gratitude gangster. What? So last week or on Sunday, I asked the question, are you more like the buffalo or are you more like a cow? Here's the distinction. When a storm is approaching, cows run in the same direction as the storm. So if the storm is coming from the east, heading west, the cow will run from the east, heading west. What happens? The cows are slow. They're big animals. What ends up happening is the storm catches up with them and kind of shakes them up and takes over. Whereas a buffalo heads right into the storm, head on. So when we're looking at our life and I ask the question, are you more like the buffalo or the cow? I think the answer is that at times we're like both. I think in certain instances we can be like the cow and just kind of ride with the storm. And there's other times when it's really important that we go head on and face those challenges and face whatever it is that's stopping us or blocking us from going the next step. So what are some benefits of taking life on like the buffalo? The first thing is that it gives you an opportunity to tap into your creativity. It may not feel like that initially, but when you're heading on straight into a storm, when you're heading straight into a challenge, you start to think of solutions that you never thought of before. You're quick, you're fast, because things are coming at you and you need to figure out, where am I going to go? Which direction? How am I going to handle this? The second thing is that when you handle storms head on, like the buffalo, it makes you really stronger. And it does this very quickly. You have to figure out, again, what are my strengths? How am I going to manage this? You maneuver faster, you think faster, and you start to grow those muscles, the resilience muscles that you didn't have before, or that you had but you hadn't used in a while. So it really gives us and they kind of go hand in hand. So we tap into our creativity because we have to find these solutions. And then because we're able to find more solutions, now we're a little bit stronger and we have a whole new set of tools that we didn't realize that we had, or that we forgot we had, that we haven't taken out in a long time. And they might have been a little rusty, but now they're not because we just had to use them. The other thing is that it weakens the procrastination muscle. So sometimes it's like, I'm just going to wait and we'll see what happens. It will worry, it will work itself out. Or sometimes the problem is so overwhelming or it feels so overwhelming that you just don't want to deal with it. You don't know how to deal with it. So you blow it off. You put it off. You want to crawl into bed and put the covers over your head and just ignore it and pray that it goes away. And the problem is that it doesn't go away. And usually what happens in that case is it gets bigger because we've avoided it. And now we have not just the original problem, we have compounding problems on top of that. So it beats us up, kind of like what I said in the beginning about the cow. When the cow runs in the same direction as a storm, it's so slow it gets beat up. And when sometimes we take time to deal with the challenges or ignore the challenges, what happens? They come after us much stronger, or they catch up to us. It's kind of like having a leak in your roof, right? One little drip is not a problem, 2 little drips is not a problem, but when you keep getting water in the same spot, what happens? It starts to explode. And it's the same thing when we avoid our problems, when we avoid things that are going on because we just don't want to deal with them. We're tired. We're overwhelmed. We don't have the solution, or we don't think we have the solution. Same thing. It's one drip. It's not such a big deal. But then another thing happens, and another thing happens. And then unfortunately, sometimes it explodes. And lastly, the most important part or the most valuable benefit of handling challenges head on is that we cultivate our gratitude muscle. We strengthen that gratitude muscle, right? And we strengthen our ability to be compassionate. We get a sense of compassion. and a sense of empathy, because we've been in this situation, so we kind of understand maybe when other people are. And when I talk about this cultivation of gratitude, we start to look at things a little bit differently. We start to see the things that, you know, that maybe were once in our way, and we're like, wow, you know what? It didn't feel so good when I was going through it. You know, the reality of my life at that moment might have sucked and it wasn't pleasant, but because I was able to look at it head on, I realized that I'm fast at getting through problems, that I'm a good thinker, that I found out that I had skills that I didn't know I had, or I learned something new to help me get through that situation. And now that skill set I can take and do something else with it. And I think, or I hope that's what's starting to happen during COVID, because so many people have been out of work or have had to rearrange the way they're doing things. And it's interesting, you know, because I know for myself that I have been creating streams of income that I never in a million years thought that I would create. And am I stressed out sometimes about it? Yeah. And in the beginning, I was like the cow. I just wanted it to go away, and I just wanted to ignore it. And I was sad, and I was overwhelmed, and I was tired. And finally something kicked in and was like, listen, Vismaya, you grab life by the horns, you know, be that buffalo, head into that storm. And like I said, I have created streams of income that I never thought I would create. I've become a member of board of directors for nonprofits. Didn't think that was going to happen either. So we cultivate these abilities or these skills, or we sharpen the skills that we didn't realize we had. And then it's kind of like the ripple effect. So we see the skills that we didn't know we had. We're tapping into that creativity. We're finding solutions. We're looking at things. And then at the end of the day, it's creating this moment of gratitude. So something that brought us strife and anger or frustration or sadness or anxiety or whatever it is, the flip side is that it created these moments of gratitude. We now have a gratitude win because we were able, the I in win is all about what did I do for myself or what did I do for somebody else. So as we go through that situation and we realize that we have these skills, or we cultivate the skills, or we sharpen the skills, or we learn a new way of managing things, we now have something to be proud of ourselves about. So that's a gratitude win, right? We got through this situation a whole lot faster. Gratitude win. I was able to do something differently than I ever thought I would do in a million years. Gratitude win. So when we head through life like the buffalo, it's painful. It's painful sometimes because now the storm is like in your face, right? You're dealing with that challenge head on, and sometimes that's even more painful than just kind of ignoring it in the beginning. But the results are that much sweeter. So I invite you, my friends, to go through life like the buffalo. Handle challenges and problems and life's hiccups like the buffalo, because then you get through it much faster. You are tapping into that sense of creativity. You're stirring it up, right? You're weakening that procrastination muscle, and you're cultivating even more things to be grateful for. I am Vismaya Rubin, your favorite gratitude gangster, and I appreciate you and thank you for being here.